everyone, welcome back to Guitar Immerse YouTube channel. Okay, so today we're going back to our Spark 40, which we have been using extensively in Guitar Immerse. Alright, we have 3 units in our studios and we really love the sounds that are coming out from the Spark 40. Number 1, number 2, the size and the portability of the amp itself. Alright, so I think a couple of days ago, Spark actually released a new update. Right, in this update they came out with I think a few new amp models as well as some effects and stuff like that. So we're gonna look through some of these features, some of these new features, and then what I've done is I actually created a patch based off some of the new features as well. Okay, so the very first thing we want to look at is the new amp that's being added, which is the ODS 50, which is kind of like a Dumbo amp model. Alright, so we're going to take a look at that and play through some sounds and let's hear how exactly it sounds. Alright, so what I have right now in the chain, it's a noise gate, right? A LA comp, right? This slight compressor going on here, so you can see a noise gate, the LA comp. Right, I put the peak to pretty low because I don't want it to be too much compression going on. Okay, and then going into the ODS 50 and then finally into a short plate reverb. Okay, so here's how it sounds like after some tweaking. Okay, so this is very different from a Vox type amp, which is supposedly very chimey and all that. Now, so this Dumbo amp, you can hear it's very different in characteristics, right? It's not chimey at all, right? But you get a lot of body from this amp itself. The notes are very thick. Okay, if you hear it note by note, you can actually hear that it is a very rounded, fat kind of a tone. Okay, so if you look at the settings I actually put the gain pretty high at 9. The bass and the traps is about 5 or 6, but I just lowered the mids a little bit because later I'm going to use an overdrive pedal to push the mids, so I'm not going to kick on heavy mids here. And the volume's about 5. I put it about 5 because of the I'm recording it via USB now, so any higher than that is actually clipping a little bit, so I'm putting it a volume at 5. But if you find the volume a bit soft on your amp itself, you can just turn up the volume of the master output, or you can bring the volume up from the amp itself, amp model itself. Okay, so let me show you what how does it sound when again it's lower. Okay, so if you want not something that's not so thick, some people can say that it's a little bit muddy, you can actually bring down the gain a little bit. Let's try it at 5. So when you bring down the gain, you might want to bring up the amp model's volume. So I'm going to bring it up to 8. Okay, bringing it back up to 9 again, you can hear the difference. So I like it a lot when I push the gain up higher. It makes my lead sound much fatter in tone. and it does help in terms of expressing your sound a little bit better. Okay, so if you find it a little bit too muddy, just bring down the gain. If you are more into strumming kind of chords thing, then I would suggest lowering the gain. But if you're doing a bit more lead, and especially it's very clean, you want a thicker lead sound, bring up the gain on amp. It doesn't distort too much on this ODS 50, which is beautiful. So you can have a thicker lead line yet still remaining clean. Okay, so that's how the ODS 50 actually sounds. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to check out the mod EQ, which is a new thing added in as well. Okay, so this mod EQ is a typical EQ pedal. Okay, you can use it as, for me, I kind of set it a little bit like a kind of like a solo boost, if you want to look at it, or something that kind of brightens your tone a little bit. So you can actually do that. So this is before again. Okay, with the EQ in. So what I did, I just bring up the 1.4K, 1.6K a little bit more, so it gives me a stronger mid to high range kind of sound. I increased the 400 a little bit just to give me a bit more low end. But you can just see that from here, you can hear that the chiminess of the sound actually comes out a little bit more, right? So this EQ pedal is actually quite beautiful if you have certain amp models that you've already been using and you find that the bass, mid, treble knobs are very limited in how you can tweak your overall sound. Add this EQ pedal in, you have your, I think, 6-band EQ, which is awesome. You can also play the level. The level actually can give you like a solo boost if you want to look at it that way. You can bring up the level a bit more. So you can be strumming chord. Solo boost. Okay, so that work as well as like a boost. All right, so if you have like their Bluetooth controller, right, you can actually step on and off certain sounds. That might be a cool option if you're doing something live and you want a solo boost. Okay, so next I've kind of added in a vintage delay. Vintage delay is part of the usual delays that they've already provided, so nothing different. Just add it in just for, again, like some extra touch. Alright, so now come to the one of the final thing that I'm going to talk about today in this video is the Klon drive. Now everybody loves clone pedals, right? Klon pedals rather. Okay, so this is a clone of a clone, a clone of a clone. Basically, it's trying to achieve the clone sound. Okay, so I've set it again at the gain at pretty high, output in the middle, and treble just a little bit to roll off the high end. So let's hear how this sounds. To the neck pickup. Let's just hear some bridge sound. So you can see that the Klon pedal in this Spark 40 actually pairs very nicely with the ODS 50. Okay, that is why I kind of bring the mids down a little bit in the ODS, so that when the Klon comes in, which is known to be a pretty mid heavy, it kind of compensates nicely in a certain sense, and it's not too overwhelming in terms of the mids. Alright, so this is the gain at pretty 1 o'clock ish. So let's hear how high gain this pedal can get. Alright, so let's check it out. Full gain. Yeah, so even at full gain setting, this Klon pedal actually sounds very nice. Okay, so I'm very happy to have all this addition into the Spark 40, because it just gives us more colors, more sounds to play with. Okay, so we hope you enjoy this quick overview or a run through of the 3 new things that has been added in. Of course, there are a few more things, like I think the PVM and stuff like that, but these are the few things that kind of caught my attention. So the ODS 50M model, the EQ 6-band EQ option, and the Klon drive pedal. These 3 things, I think, to me, it's a huge add-on to the Spark 40. So thank you, Positive Grid, for doing this for us, and very happy to have all these sounds in our little box here. Okay, so if you do like this kind of content, do give us a good thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for the latest videos. Okay, take care, God bless, I will see you real soon. Bye.